Bust it.
Hello out there, and thanks for joining us on Political Platform. It's a Monday, and we thank you for, as always, joining us, for tuning in. And for those who watch on Africa Independent Television Abuja, we want to ask you to remember to you can actually go to the YouTube channel all over Nigeria, anywhere in the world. You can go to YouTube and watch AIT Political Platform. Now, that is the way you see it if you want to watch it ahead of the time at 6 p.m. in the evening. But for those who are outside, you can actually also listen to us. If you have a Repower app on, you can listen to us and just download it on the Google Play. And you are able to get Repower the way it is streamed live. We want to thank you for always keeping your dial on the on radio and on TV when the program is on. I'm Okiri Agbonsuremi. A lot of efforts are ongoing. Some of them very quietly, some of them open, by the acting president and his team to douse the tension that's rising around Nigeria. Even as they make that effort, a group chose to go soft on the demand from the north. In spite of the DSS warning at the weekend, some youth from the north have written, according to a publication which was published on page 5 of Leadership Today, they have written to the acting president requesting him to facilitate a peaceful exit of the Igbos. They say there's no need to fire any gun, no need to quarrel. All the president needs to do, the acting president needs to do, is to respect the universal acceptance of people's rights to determine their own destiny, and allow, if they so wish, they should allow the Southeasterners to go. But the DSS came up with a warning. I wouldn't know how to describe it. Is it late? They say never. It's never too late. It's better late than never. But they came up advising and cautioning Nigerians from across the divide to be cautious, and that they will not henceforth tolerate people who are promoting divisive contents in the social media, in the mainstream media, and all over the place, whether by press conference. We'll have to be dealing with that issue in the course of this program. Let me just introduce my colleagues. We have invited to the studio an editor in one of the dailies, the deputy editor, Nation's Capital, the Nation newspapers, Yomi Odunuga. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. And I have my colleagues in here, Mustafa Mohammed. Mustafa Mohammed, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
And I have Ijoma Osamo. Ijoma, also welcome to the program.
Thank you, Okiria.
And Dr. Amechi Anakwe is also right in here. Amechi, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to the program.
Now let's begin by going through your content, the content of your deep thoughts about the issues we raised on the program. Political platform at yahoo.com. Let's see who is talking to us this morning and sharing his or her views.
Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to the mail segment on your number one program. I am Etenikan Akepu.
I'm Usaitin Yare. Welcome.
And we're getting started with this mail from Hillary in Abuja, who writes on sectional agitations and Oshibanjo's meetings. He goes on to say, while I commend and support acting President Oshibanjo for the series of engagements he has been having with various interest groups, he must, however, understand that rhetorics, no matter how sweet and soothing, have a shorter lifespan in the Nigeria of today than hitherto, because the people are wiser now. To holistically address these issues, government must take deliberate steps to correct its many wrong actions, especially in the area of appointments and project spread. Government must realize that these agitations and ultimatums are directly a product of its actions and body language, not necessarily its words, so words won't work here. Meetings won't work here. Only actions guided by justice and fairness will. If ethnic tension has reached an all-time high during the life of this administration, then it is only wise to look inwards. Less talk, more actions.
More reactions. Cyprian Ugwede in Abuja says, "Dear platform crew, kudos for your service to the nation. I am an average Igbo man who neither believes in Biafra or Nigeria as is presently constituted. Biafra to me is utopian and possibly a creation of another South Sudan, while Nigeria, as a forced marriage, possibly can survive. The difference in culture, religion and social life between the North and South is as far apart as heaven is from the earth. When are we going to have a national leader that will start building an enviable nation that would appeal to all well-meaning Nigerians?"
And Akinloye Kende from Kaduna State is calling on the youth to be wiser. He goes on to say, with all that this country is facing, the least of what we need right now is religion, tribal civil war or conflicts among ethnic groups. Everyone should get this right. If you sit somewhere instigating people and youth to start what you don't know what the end will be like, then you need to have a rethink and stop. Especially for youth, we should know that at a time like this, what this country needs right now is for the youth to come together with one voice and one patriotic spirit, irrespective of the religion or group you belong, and think of ideas and ways of helping this country to get out of all sorts of economic problems and make Nigeria a better place. May God help this country. And that's it on the mail segment for today. Keep your mails coming. Send them to politicalplatform@yahoo.com.
Bust it.
They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you so much for staying with us, and in line with his resolve to continue with the dialogue and the kind of briefs and the meetings that the acting president have had on Sunday. He met with traditional rulers drawn from the senatorial districts in the 5 southeastern states. That was just yesterday, and you will see the president throughout last week hold series of meetings with political leaders, religious leaders, traditional rulers, trying to douse the tension. Maybe the next set of club of people the presidents you want to meet are the youths themselves. Maybe the youths, those who are on the very, very far side of the divide. We spoke about this last week when we were talking about the gap between the younger Igbo man and the elder Igbo man. The difference between them. We gave you an example. Now maybe the acting president and his team will need to go down. But Yomi, it is one of those things that the government has decided is necessary to douse the tension. Are they succeeding?
Well, to some extent, I would say they are succeeding, but I also find out that the kind of youth that the acting president will be talking with are not the kind of youth that I say talking for those in the southeast, those in the north. What I see are elderly men posing as youth, and that's where the problem lies. So in talking to the youth, the acting president will have to go beyond the politicians that are talking and talk to the real youth, the people that can really talk to their own.
Now, I don't know how is it good. Are they organized? Because if you take a look at those who spoke from the Niger Delta, they say Niger Delta agitators, who say, look, everybody in the south, the Niger Delta should move away and get out. How will the acting president get? You've
got to put faces to these people. In the north, for example, there's also a youth group that has covered that the function of the youth group has been hijacked by politicians. When you have a 60-year-old, a 50-year-old
saying that he's
talking for the youth, then you ask yourself, where have you got it wrong in this country? So if you can't put a face to these divided groups all over the place, then we have not started conversing with the right people.
Well, Amechi, it's not as if we are lacking in the names, in the faces.
No, we have faces.
We have faces.
The Arewa Youth Coalition, they have faces and names.
Yes. We even have the video.
Yes, in the South, they converged on Port Harcourt, and their names are known. So we have faces that talking about whether the efforts of the acting president is succeeding or not. The first step is let's talk. And talking will somehow and somewhat begin to douse tension. But is it cosmetic? Is it a treatment on the surface, or is it where we go deep down to really calm the frayed nerves? One of our listeners talked about the causative factors. I also expect the government to ask itself this question. Why is it at this point in our history that we are so divided like never before, other than what we experienced during the Civil War? What are the factors that led to where we are? Are there things based on actions of the government,
or inaction,
civil society, inactions, body language, insinuations that have contributed to this situation? These are the kind of things I expect the government to also look at. It must be multifaceted, the approach, because as it were, everybody will admit that the tensions, ethnic tensions, have never been this high, and if we are to address it, we must indeed begin to do it holistically, and we must make efforts so that it will not be in our generation. Let it not be in my generation that this happened, or before the Civil War then, or that happened. Every other person will work against it. I expect this government to also say it's not during our tenure that such and such will happen.
Now, Mustafa, do we have the faces of the young people in the north? Because you have one statement today, another statement tomorrow. You have some of them have a high pitch, some of them have low pitch, and do we have their faces? Is that the challenge for the government?
The biggest challenge is lack of synergy and spread. Some of these youth are not even known to the majority of Nigerian youth, whether you call it Arewa, the Igbo land, or South, they are not even known. Some of them came out for the first time, and then we came to know them because of the hysteria in the media. You spoke about the vice president going about talking to politicians, traditional rulers, and what have you. The missing link in all this is lack of trust in Nigeria between the traditional institutions, the politician, the civil servant. Nigerians have been shortchanged for a very long time, and it takes a grace of heaven for any politician or traditional ruler or youth group to come and speak on behalf of all the others to be accepted and trusted. Don't forget what happened, the post-election violence in 2011, where some of the prominent traditional rulers in northern part of Nigeria, I repeat, prominent, who had to run out of their palace without shoes, babaliga, or turban to their crown. Some of them had to escape in unmarked vehicles to military and police formation. The traditional rulers, for example, have meddled in politics which they should not be doing in the past 10-15 years. The politicians have been involved in one corrupt activity or the other, and they are largely responsible for the underdevelopment of Nigeria, even with the higher expectation when democracy returned in 1999.
Now I am happy that we don't have women group rising yet.
They're agitating for equality.
Women leadership.
Here you won't have women in this kind of battle because they are peace builders in any home. The woman is a peace builder. That is the nature of a woman. What is happening now?
Vulnerable
if war comes, yes.
Women
what I'm saying is simple. Mustafa already said something. People do not trust their leaders anymore. Gone are the days when you don't even need to call the youth group. You just call one or two persons that they bow down to.
Yes.
And the person will call them and they will keep quiet. But because they have sold out from election, our problem starts from election, I've told you. Because we had impunity in all these days. They put people that are not capable. They bring thugs that can snatch ballot boxes to become chairmen of local government, to become commissioners, to become governors of a state. And at the end of the day, those people are being paid for the services they render during the election. That is what is affecting us. The government is aware. If we say we do not know what is causing this problem, it is a big fat lie. We all know. But solving it is the problem. So let's go to the basis.
Let's drag it to the statement from the DSS. Now, we used to know when they were in NSO. I was already adult when it was
Nigerian
Security Organization. I was already an adult. I know how secret that organization was. Somebody tells you it's in NSO, then you run away. You just run away. People don't even want to say they are in NSO. But there was a gradual when it was like broken up, and we had, because the NSO then had the current NIA and the DSS fused, and they had both internal and external, but it was separated, and we had the SSS, which has now been rechristened DSS. Now, we have also seen the metamorphosis over time. Now, the reason I'm taking into this angle, Yomi, is the challenge of security of identifying these groups, the challenge of security of knowing these groups, because the DSS is supposed to work discreetly, secretly, to identify, nip these problems in the bud before they even come up. Even the meeting in Arewa House, the DSS ought to know that there was going to be a meeting in Arewa House by some groups. They ought to be there, they should be there, and you can actually stop it or ask questions, talk to the leaders if they know that what they are going to give out is going to be this, has landed us into this problem. But unfortunately, the DSS metamorphosis has also grown in leaps and bounds with time. There was a time you could call somebody in the Yellow House here at the headquarters, but I've asked my correspondents, I've asked my colleagues around, who do we talk to in the DSS if we have questions to ask? What we see are
formally or informally.
You are just being a bit technical in what you are saying. You should understand that the DSS, over the years, in the last 18 years of this our political development, has been politicized. Before politics crept into the DSS or SSS or whatever you want to call it, they worked secretly. Now, whether you want to accept the fact or not, the fact is that the DSS is also going through a political metamorphosis that will take a long time for it to understand its function in a democracy. The statement issued by the DSS yesterday was signed by the same person that used to sign, a faceless character. I don't have any problem with that, but I have a problem with.
You say faceless character, what do you mean?
When I say faceless, nobody, as a journalist, my correspondent that covers the place don't even know the person. And I can tell you, there is no number for you to call if you need a follow-up. It issues a statement and that's the end of it. There's a problem with that. As I'm talking to you, there is a particular colleague who is a journalist who was arrested over 3 months ago. He's in Kuje. He called me on Sunday over an issue he had with ICPC. You couldn't even call anybody to find out
what happened.
His wife called me. So the DSS is now, I don't know whether it's the solution or part of the problem, because issuing a statement to every member, let us also accept that the statement was general to every group, whether you are from the Southwest.
But let us interrogate it. I remember Audu Maikori. He was the CIO of Chocolate City.
Yeah.
I also remember Apostle Suleiman.
Yes.
I remember Sule Lamido. Yeah. I remember Victor Ume. Yeah. And then the last was Namdi Kanu. All these people, immediately they made statements. The DSS swung into action. The police.
That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That the statement coming 2 weeks after the Arewa statement.
I was actually coming to that. Let me just wrap it up. These people were roundly questioned immediately. Some of them were moved from long locations, as far as from Lagos to Abuja for interrogation, and they were asked. But let's fast forward. The coalition of Arewa youths, Ango Abdullahi representing Northern Leaders Forum, and the Niger Delta agitators, they call themselves, and then some youths in the southeast, IPOB members, some of them speaking individually or collectively, all of them in quick succession. It was started by the coalition of Arewa youths. The DSS didn't act in all this. They waited. We said so the last week, and our guest said it was wrong for them not to have acted. And I spoke to 1 or 2 persons, and they told me, look, what they don't want to heighten the tension. That's why probably they are not arresting. But when I saw the press statement by the DSS yesterday, I said this is begging the issue. Who can the DSS arrest now in the face of this tolerance for these people who didn't do anything? Is the DSS making itself a toothless bulldog that cannot act, that cannot need the action in the board? They have forgotten their traditional rules of detecting the problem before it rise up, and they are now begging everybody to stay off.
Maybe they are doing that. Maybe it's a failure of the system. Maybe it's a failure of intelligence. Somewhere along the line, something must have happened. Because let's face it, the people that spoke in Kaduna even came out and spoke on TV. You know, you can put faces to all these persons, regardless of where they come from. But I want to assume that they are doing their job and they are doing it professionally, until a time comes when you start realizing that maybe there's more to it than meets the eye, because you also have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
But are they not box themselves into a corner now where they, if I all of us in the studio now address the press and say, look, this nation must be divided, and we ask everybody to come and publish it, can the DSS actually come and arrest us?
I've heard so many things.
That is the question.
I've heard so many things on TV that really, those things shock me, that people could open their mouth and talk about this country like that and nobody is doing anything. I don't know whether it's a political strategy. I don't know whether they're just allowing tension to simmer or whatever. But what is not acceptable is a situation where anybody can just come up and say we are dividing this country.
Nigeria, yeah.
Take your, from wherever you come, there are laws guiding this. Even public speech, there should be laws guiding them.
Ohira, Yomi spoke about politicization of sensitive security agencies, and like he said, probably didn't start today. The last administration regime within the DSS was accused of allowing itself to be sucked into politics. Meruli Noga was dismissed after some transfers and all that, and we were made to believe that actions were being taken.
Dismissed also or relieved?
Yes, retired or something retired, like that. Yes, so we thought that the process of ensuring that, or trying to extricate the DSS and other security agencies from politicization has started, because we need these agencies to be neutral and apolitical.
And to be strong.
We need them, and we must do everything. It is our responsibility to ensure that they remain above the board. But not too long after that, there were some incidents that happened that also questioned the political stance of and neutrality of the current leadership of the DSS. What happened in is it Aba, where some persons were killed, and the DSS was accused of rushing to press with a statement that there are Hausa people that were killed even without investigations not done. These are insinuations that when you have politicization, you wish it will not creep into security agencies. But I want to believe that it's a professional body. The interest and the national interest of Nigeria is paramount.
I think Yomi actually hit the nail on the head by saying it is also going through its own challenge.
But Okiria,
and just a second, because we're going to take a break now, and Mustafa, you come back immediately after the break. Yomi has said that it's going through some metamorphosis. What manner of metamorphosis? We'll be talking about this as we come back from the break.
Busted. They present the popular radio program Political Platform on the Ray Power FM network. Ray Power FM Political Platform, now on television. Keep track of the country's polity and be part of the process as they discuss and put political developments in the country into perspective. It's Ray Power Political Platform on AIT Abuja.
Thank you so much for remaining with us on the platform. Now, we listed out some names, those who were swiftly interrogated by the DSS when they made pronouncements, and they gave insinuations that they were not in love with Nigeria and in the way they spoke, and the DSS moved in. Now, we also listed a group of persons which started with the Coalition for Arewa Youths, who brazenly, in the public on video, spoke so openly, and the police did not arrest them. We were promised that they would be arrested. I mean, the governor of Kaduna State came up to say immediately they should be arrested. The police said they were going to arrest them.
The IG.
And the IG said they were going to arrest them. They didn't arrest them. The DSS did not arrest them. Now the DSS says you should stop your mouth, stop your pen from agitation and the other things. And the question is the politicization, which Yomi Odunuga talks about, and the challenge which also admit that not just the DSS, every section of the society is affected one way or the other. It is the DSS under this kind of yoke that they need to really seek the assistance of everybody for them to live.
The DSS needs to show face that it's really working. But I think talking or threat by the DSS does not really solve the problem. We have a lot of fears in the country that we have to face them. Look at the constitutions, the various constitutions in the country. These constitutions, down to the one we are using now, have not given right for self-determination.
Yeah. No referendum provision.
No referendum provision. The truth of the matter is, instead of forcing some of these issues through the neck, arrest and detention because you have youth making agitations and expressing themselves, make it legal and the crime will die down.
All right. The acting president said the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable.
Fine, but we call this same country a Lugadian contraption. It's a contraption from nowhere. So what is wrong with regionalism, for example? People have issues. They have issues and genuine issues that they have raised that regions can be on their own and contribute something to the center. Why are we not discussing it? Why is it that it's only in this country that you have constitutional what do you call it now? Constitutional conference. We have had how many under Obasanjo we had. Under Abacha, they never get to be discussed or implemented. That's where the problems are.
People are talking.
Why do we put the papers? We just drop the resolutions and the findings somewhere, and we start another one, spending billions of naira for another. Now the National Assembly is asking for the last one. I can tell you, if care is not taken, why can't we discuss the nature of this marriage and let everybody stop the tension? The moment you don't allow people to voice whatever they are feeling inside, you give room for all these agitations, which might lead to something that nobody prays for.
Exactly.
I think I want to say it's just the fear. There's this primordial fear that, look, if you just allow people to talk, if you allow a referendum. I read the provisions of the recommendations of the Aburi Accord. I mean, in an article that was written by Femi Adesina, the current SA media, in 2020, on the day that Odumeji Ojukwu was being buried, that was the day he published the article, and I read it, and I saw all that they were daring that go on. Actually, if he had the foresight, if he knew what was going to happen today, if he was a spirit or a prophet, he would have seen that that Aburi Accord was probably what would have taken us to where we probably will be. But everybody is dancing around it. We can't discuss it. We can't talk about it. The acting president says the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Everybody keep quiet. So, I mean, the last for you before we wrap up. The last from you.
Let me say, if the DSS is listening to this, my appeal as a journalist is that they should put a name to the spokesperson, not just a name,
a face.
If not a face, let us have an official number that you can contact to find out what they are doing about different things they could have been doing at the particular time, so that we won't be going into the era of speculation like we did in the past. All
right, that is how we are going to be wrapping it up on today's edition of Political Platform. We sure do believe you have an idea, you have an opinion. Please send it to us through politicalplatform@yahoo.com. Okere Agbonsuremi, do please have a wonderful week.